Thanks for tuning in to All Things Business, hosted by Tony Jackson, business owner, author, entrepreneur, and speaker, and Ricky Tucker, Coach Ricks, business owner, publisher, speaker, and TV host. All Things Business, helping you make dollars and your business makes sense. Now let's get down to business.
Thanks for tuning in to a new edition of All Things Business. I'm Tony Jackson.
And I'm Ricky Tucker.
All Things Business, where we help you make dollars
while we help your business make sense.
Now let's get down to business. On the last show, we talked about the 10 top challenges that small businesses face. We covered money, time, and lack of knowledge and skills. Of those 10, 7 are left, which Ricky's going to name for us now.
Absolutely, Tony, and they are information overload, lack of direction and planning, working in the business versus working on the business, innovation, trying to do it all alone, getting clients, and Tony, certainly last but not least, poor marketing. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to cover those 7 when we return from our commercial break. So stay tuned.
At Arlington Computers, we take care of all your computer needs. From sales to repair to consulting. Need a new computer? We have them. Got a broken computer or phone? Our experienced staff can fix it here or at your home or business. No IT department? No problem. With our knowledgeable staff and remote desktop support, we can help with that too. With over 15 years of experience, Arlington Computers is the only stop you'll need for all your computer needs.
Welcome back. So, the first one we're going to take is working in the business instead of on the business. Business owners, let me just say, first of all, I get it. I promise you I get it. I'm right there with you. Working in the business, it's your baby. You care about it, you open it, you close it, you're there every step of the way. But we've got to step back sometimes. In order for the business to go to the next level, we have to just take a step back and say, hey, what is it that I need to be doing to keep this business rolling? You have to build that team around you and let them do their job and step out of it sometimes.
Okay, I'm going to give you some good news, and I'm going to give you some even better news. Let's just face the fact that as entrepreneurs, you are really hamstrung. You're really overly concerned about the day-to-day operations. You're concerned about the paperwork. You're concerned about the customers coming in, making sure that they're satisfied. You're concerned about keeping the business running, Tony, as entrepreneurs also always do. Now, that's important, but even more importantly, as an entrepreneur, it is critical that you work on the business. Now, so what do we mean by that? Tony and I have done some research, and we realize that it's important to review things like your cash flow. It's important to review things like your reports as it relates to inventory, your payroll, your employee benefits, etc. Now, the other portion of that is to work with and meet with your employees and or any management team that you may have for your business. Now, then you are working on the business versus really being bogged down with just the very day-to-day operations. Yes, that's important. And as you said, Tony, it's really important to find the right people to help you, so that they can take some of that weight off of you.
Oh, yeah. And delegation is a very important piece of it. As business owners, we have to know how to delegate tasks out and, get the team involved and let them kind of take over and take the steering wheel sometimes. I was reading something the other day on entrepreneur.com, and it really opened my eyes. The writer compared running a business to parenting, believe it or not. And it just says, just as you can overparent, she says you can do the same thing with your company, meaning not wanting to let go or having too much control. And it's just not a good thing. I mean, so I can really see, when I read that, relating that to parenting, I can really see that because I feel like I'm the father in the business and I have to control everything. And it's just doesn't have to be like that, you know?
Absolutely. Well, that's one of the greatest challenges to business ownership as well as leadership. You use the phrase delegation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, delegating does not mean dumping. Delegating means kindly sharing the information that you need or the tasks that you need to have done, sharing those with your team members. The other thing that you talked about is business is similar to parenting. And I will agree with you there because in my years of corporate America in leadership roles, I was always using that as a parallel or as an example. Now, as an entrepreneur, and as a leader, when it's done properly, that parenting can turn into success. And entrepreneurs, business owners, then when it's done right, you can happily leave and go on vacation and trust that you have the right people who are trained properly to run and operate your business, and you can actually enjoy your vacation.
Oh, yeah. Vacation. Business owners love that, man.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to take time to vacation, all right? We're going to take a commercial break and stay tuned to All Things Business.
Would you like to improve your quality of life and lower your cost of living? In Oakland, it's well within your reach. Located on Highway 64, just east of Shelby County, Oakland offers local shopping and carefree living with room to roam and room to grow in homes you can afford. Enjoy a relaxed lifestyle just minutes from the region's top shopping destinations. With property taxes 75% lower than Memphis, your dollars go further. Find what you're looking for in Oakland, Tennessee, where your hopes and dreams are well within your reach.
Hello and welcome back to All Things Business, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start this segment of the show with innovation. Well, we know that in order to survive, we've got to thrive. So how are we going to do that? We're going to do that through innovation. Unfortunately, as small business owners, one of the things that we do see is a lot of startup businesses, even though they're small businesses, Tony, and sometimes first-time business owners, even though they're small, they tend to want to stick to the old traditional way of doing business. And of course, that's not going to help them to separate themselves from the competition. They're looking at the old culture. But what we really want all businesses to focus on is that innovative culture so that they can look, you've heard the phrase, looking outside of the box. Unfortunately, a lot of our small business owners are not looking outside of the box. Why? Typically because they're very uncomfortable. For some, this may be first time. For some, they really know that there's a lot at stake and they want to win. So it really inhibits. Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to think outside of the box and think in terms of benchmarking. Look at some of the best practices and look at ways to do things that other companies are doing, but doing them better. So that innovative piece, Tony, and I'm sure that with you being a business owner and particularly being on the technical side, even with being a business coach, my wife and I, we have to make sure that we stay on the cutting edge of knowledge and information for the folks that we work with.
That's it. That's it. You know, you know how people say you can't do the same things and get different results?
Absolutely.
You know, that's one of those things that really hits home for me. Another thing about innovation, Ricky, you know, I love quotes. And I love to read quotes, and here are a couple that really hit home for me. These are by Bob Iger, and he says the heart and soul of a company is creativity and innovation. You know, he also, well, from there he goes on to say that the worst thing we can do is just remain status quo. And that's just, I mean, a lot of businesses are status quo, you know. Prime example of innovation and just doing things differently. Unfortunately, well, I'm a computer repair store owner, and 4 years ago, our main line of business was computer repair. We repaired laptops, desktops, things of that nature, basic networking. We had to realize that smartphones and tablets were taking over the market. Everybody had them. Everything went from having to check my email, pay my bills, and all of those things from this laptop or this desktop to where, I mean, look at this. You can do all of that on this smartphone here today.
Absolutely.
I mean, the screens are bigger. Everything is right here in the palm of your hand. So we had to be innovative and change the way we did the repair business. So today we do iPhone repair, some Galaxy phone repair. We fix tablets and iPads and things like that. And you just have to change with the times. You have to grow and catch what the market is throwing at you.
Absolutely. Well, I'll give you another example. We talked about this just the other day in a coaching session. And I know that when I had a business coach, when I first started receiving business coaching from someone, and now it's just ongoing. But when I first started, it was face-to-face or by telephone. Well, thanks to you and your technological genius, then we're going to start doing coaching by Skyping. And we can do some, obviously we can do some by internet, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
So that is a way that we have to look at things. You've also talked to us about providing professional development on demand. So I thank you for that, and thank you for showing me how to think outside of the box to deliver the valuable information, whether it's training, coaching, and then we're going to be looking at some ways to provide consulting business via the internet or just using some type of technology. Once again, thanks to you.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, that's innovation at its best.
Absolutely.
All things business, right?
That is right.
We're going to go ahead and jump into the next piece, which is trying to do it alone. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a special clip for you. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name's Joe, and I work in a button factory. I've got a wife and 3 kids, and one day my boss said to me, he said, Joe. I said, yo. Are you busy? I said, no. He said, push this button with your right hand. Hi, my name's Joe, and I work in a button factory. I've got a wife and 3 kids, and one day my boss said to me, he said, Joe. I said, yo. Are you busy? I said, no. He said, push that button with your left hand. Hi, my name's Joe, and I work in a button factory. I've got a wife and 3 kids, and one day my boss said to me, he said, Joe. I said, yo. Are you busy? I said, no. He said, push that button with your right foot. Hi, my name's Joe, and I work in a button factory. I've got a wife and 3 kids, and one day my boss said to me, he said, Joe. I said, yo. Are you busy? I said, no. He said, push that button with your left foot. Hi, my name's Joe, and I work in a button factory. I've got a wife and 3 kids, and one day my boss said to me, he said, Joe. I said, yo. Are you busy? I said, no. He said, push that button with your head. Hi, my name's Joe, and I work in a button factory. I've got a wife and 3 kids, and one day my boss said to me, he said, Joe. I said, yo. Are you busy? I said, yes. Yes, I'm busy.
Joe.
Boy, Joe, look, I'm tired, Joe.
So my question is, ladies and gentlemen, how many Joes do we have out there? How many of us try to do it all alone? We just keep going. We tapping and nodding and just trying to do it all, that Joe is amazing. And it just kind of ties back into trying to do it all alone and working in the business instead of on the business. What do you think about the video, Rick?
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I am a pretty energetic guy, but I think Joe's got me beat. And I will say that even though we used a little bit of lightness to express what we're really getting to you, I will tell you that this is one of the biggest challenges with small business owners, and that is just trying to cope with everything alone. And we want you to know that that's really a common mistake
It is.
that entrepreneurs have been making. They really fail to manage the team properly. And instead of doing so, then they really focus on trying to do everything themselves. You know, we talked a little bit earlier about leadership and about delegating. This is a great place to really focus on learning those skills of delegating to the right people. And Tony, I know that at some point we're going to be working with and talking with people live, and we're going to be giving some examples of how to best do that.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to seeing some of you live as we're looking to help you to be able to get away from trying to do everything alone. You know, Tony, as we were looking at Joe and trying to keep up with him, one of the things that we talked about is the fact that people tend to be addicted to activity.
Oh, yeah.
Now, activity does not always mean that you're productive.
Not at all.
So we want to advise people to really be mindful of that you don't want to do it all alone, but you want to make sure that activity is really more productive than anything. We want you to really embrace. I can remember the days of the phrase work smarter, not harder.
Smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I used to think working long hours was the way to do it, and trying to do it all on my own, and not talking with my team in order to make that happen. But when I realized the value of the talents of the team members, then I saw how much more productive I was and how much more productive we were as a team. So those are the things that we really like to share with the business owners in the audience.
Oh, yeah. And staying on task, too, you know, that's a big thing, too. You can, I mean, when you really are focused and you're planning out your time, you learn that sometimes you can do a 10 hours worth of work in about 7 to 8 hours because you're focused on what
Absolutely.
you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. We're going to come back and we're going to dive into getting clients. So stay tuned to All Things Business.
We'll be right back.
The Arlington Chamber of Commerce proudly supports our local businesses, such as these advertising members. Homer Skelton Ford. If you need to purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford, nobody beats a Homer Skelton deal. Steve Ray's Services. For residential or commercial service, maintenance, or installation on your AC or heat, contact Steve Ray's Services. And Edible Arrangements. For fresh fruit bouquets, come by Edible Arrangements or call us. We can deliver them for you. The Arlington Chamber of Commerce, working for businesses because business works for Arlington.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we're back. The last topic for today, getting clients. The best way to get clients is for you actually not to get them.
What do you mean by that?
No.
No.
Let that process for a second. For you actually not to get them. Meaning, you have to turn your existing customers into your cheerleaders. Meaning, you have to have the customers that you deal with now on a daily basis. They have to be so happy and excited about the way you treat them and the way you do business that they're running to tell others about you and your services.
Wow. You know, that's really interesting because some 20 years or so ago, we talked about that, and we talked about it in the sense of the customers being your evangelists. So I think that's really awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just think about it this way. What do cheerleaders do? They cheer
for you. That's
business
right.
owners go, go. Business owners go, go. Business owners go, 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 go.
Wow. I tell you what, if I had some clients like that, I think we would be doing really well. So that's your goal, ladies and gentlemen.
That's exactly how you want your customers to proactively go after business for you. It happens every day for us. We are really tuned into what our customers like. And it's all about the experience. And small businesses, a lot of times we look over that and we don't think it matters, but I'm telling you, it does. It's one of the main factors. The first impression makes the best impression, and it lasts a lifetime. Let me just give you a couple numbers. Consumer Reports put out some numbers that said nearly 91% of customers will not do business with you a second time if the first encounter is not good.
Wow, that's a high number. Is that 91%?
91%.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, very high number. 2/3 of customers walk out of a business if they felt that the service was bad in a brick and mortar location. Mm-hmm.
So that means if I go in and even if I experience or see someone receiving poor customer service before I even step to the counter, there's a good chance that
You're gonna walk
they're
out.
walking out.
Yeah, and I mean I've seen it,
Wow.
and it's a sad thing, but believe it or not, it really does happen.
You know, that really gives a new meaning, or it really confirms the meaning of you never get a second time to make a first impression.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
70% of customers did not patronize a business if the CSR or customer service representative was just rude over the phone. I mean that was a really important report to see, and those numbers are real and they really mean something. Business owners, we need to step up to the plate and make sure that we are, as well as our staff, are well trained. And you remember I'm not going to necessarily say the customer's always right,
Yes.
but the customer's always right.
That is true. Well, you should position yourself in that manner, because that is where your bread and butter is actually coming from. And I tell you, the good news to that 70% not patronizing a business if the customer service representative is not effective on the phone, the good news story is we all have an opportunity as a small business owner to make that impression even over the phone.
Yeah, you can. I mean, we were talking earlier about hearing people smile over the phone.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the really important things. You have to hear personality in someone's voice, and I mean, you really can't hear them smiling over the phone. That's one of the things I talked about in my book, actually. Just keeping customers happy and the interaction piece, and keeping them smiling and keeping them happy. And I think are we almost out of time, Ricky?
We're getting a little bit close, but I'm
Okay.
glad that you asked that, because you walked me through that scenario in your book when you talked about keeping the customer happy and them coming back versus the contrary. Would you talk a little bit about that when you talked about the impact and the positive ripple effect? If you keep them happy, you are getting clients, not just for you, but when you talked about that, you talked about how your clients would come to you, and then there's a good chance. So share a little bit more about that.
Okay. So in essence, think about it this way. If they come to my business and I'm located in Arlington, which I am located in Arlington, Tennessee, and they have a good experience with me, chances are they will stay and they will shop within that local area. So if they come in and they have a bad experience with my computer repair business and they search elsewhere for computer repair, let's say they go over to 2 towns over and they're there getting their machine fixed. Well, chances are they're going to eat while they're in that part of town.
Right.
They're going to get gas while they're in that part of town. So, I mean, you can see how that it's just a ripple effect. They leave the area and the money leaves with them. And you want to try to keep everything right there in your local area and keep your area happy.
I think you're onto something there, Tony, and I think that is something that we are going to have to get out and share with people. And as you were talking, it reminds me, as we're closing out, it reminds me of a meeting that my wife and I went into. I had to hold back to talk on a conference call. But when I came into the meeting, the gentleman that we were meeting with, he and his team, he said to my wife, "Why didn't you tell me that this was your husband?" And she said, "Well, I said his name." And he said, "But you didn't say it was Ricky Tucker." And she said, "Well, I did." And he said, "Well, had I known it was him, we wouldn't have even had to meet, because I know his reputation.
Wow.
And because of his reputation, I'm going to go ahead and make the call so that you can get the business."
Wow.
And this business just happened to have been a very significant contract for us. So I think that you're really onto something. And as we're talking about getting clients, and you talked about customer service, so obviously getting those clients and then keeping those clients. So you said something at the top about the secret to getting clients is not getting clients. Now I get it. So what we want to do is to make sure that the ones that we have, we're giving them our absolute best.
Oh yeah, absolutely, every single time.
Well, that sounds great. Wow, Tony, this has been a mouthful.
It has been.
It has certainly been a pleasure. And I tell you, all things business, we are just we're covering. I think we pretty much covered just about every step of the way.
Oh yeah,
But we've got one great nugget
one
that
Yes.
we're holding on to, and that's marketing.
marketing.
I know number 10 is poor marketing, but what we're going to do in our next show is we're going to talk about marketing and not focus on poor marketing, but we're going to talk about the challenges that companies have when they don't have effective marketing. So
Right, and it's gonna be amazing, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have guest after guest after guest, and we're gonna drill down on that. We're gonna talk about marketing, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what to expect, marketing plans. It's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait.
Well, in the meantime, I know that people are going to be looking to get in contact with us. And Tony, your mind is so much better than mine. So tell us again, how can everybody get in contact with us?
All Things Business Show at gmail.com is the best way to get to us. Email us with questions and concerns, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions and talk about anything you guys want to talk about. And before I forget, I'm Tony Jackson.
And I'm Ricky Tucker,
All Things Business, where we help you make dollars.
while we help your business make sense.
Now let's get down to business.